This is the first picture of the Earth from space that any of us ever saw. It was taken on Christmas Eve 1968 during the Apollo 8 mission. Shouted out landing spots, and they lost radio contact when they went around the dark side of the moon. And there was inevitably some suspense. Then when they came back in radio contact, they looked up and they snapped this picture, and it became known as Earthrise. And that one picture exploded in the consciousness of humankind. It led to dramatic changes. Within 18 months of this picture, the modern environmental movement had begun. The next picture was taken on the last of the Apollo missions, Apollo 17. This one was taken on December 11th, 1972, and it is the most commonly published photograph in all of history. And it's the only picture of the Earth from space that we have where the sun was directly behind the spacecraft so that the Earth is fully lit up and not partly in darkness. The next image I'm going to show you has almost never been seen. It was taken by a spacecraft called the Galileo that went out to explore the solar system. And as it was leaving Earth's gravity, it turned its cameras around and took a time-lapse picture of 1 day's worth of rotation, here compressed into 24 seconds. Isn't that beautiful? This image is a magical image in a way. It was made by a friend of mine, Tom Van Sant. He took 3,000 separate satellite pictures taken over a 3-year period, digitally stitched together, and he chose images that would give a cloud-free view of every square inch of the Earth's surface. All of the landmass is accurately portrayed. When that's all spread out, it becomes an iconic image. I show this because I want to tell you a story about 2 teachers I had. One that I didn't like that much, the other who was a real hero to me. I had a grade school teacher who taught geography by pulling a map of the world down in front of the blackboard. I had a classmate in the 6th grade who raised his hand and he pointed to the outline of the east coast of South America, and he pointed to the west coast of Africa, and he asked, "Did they ever fit together?" And the teacher said, "Of course not. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard." That student went on to become a drug addict and a ne'er-do-well. The teacher went on to become science advisor in the current administration. But you know, the teacher was actually reflecting the conclusion of the scientific establishment of that time. Continents are so big, obviously, they don't move. But actually, as we now know, they did move. They moved apart from one another. But at one time, they did, in fact, fit together. But that assumption was a problem. It reflected the well-known wisdom that what gets us into trouble is not what we don't know, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so.